inventory because the Japanese market was much smaller than the United States market. So what they did was actually create flexible technologies, and some of those flexible technologies allowed them to reduce significantly the setup time of their machinery from days to hours, and that significantly reduced their fixed costs. And because their fixed costs were reduced, they didn't have to produce the same level of output that, let's say, GM had to afford in order to enjoy economies of scale, because they were doing it faster and they were doing it cheaper. All right. Another flexible manufacturing technology that they used, and other companies have used it, is what we call cellular manufacturing. All right, where now uniform parts are utilized in multiple production or multiple products. So, for example, again, automobiles, you have different lines of automobiles. Like Toyota would have the Corolla, they would have the Camry, they would have the Lexus, but they all might use uniform parts or uniform chassis or uniform different elements. So it's kind of like almost like Lego, where you have similar parts, but they're just being configured differently. And having similar parts and just changing the configuration allows, again, the firm to mass produce, because we're using the same basic unit in each car. So I can mass produce the basic unit, and all I have to do is just customize differently the way it looks, the way it feels, the way it's compiled, the accessories, in order to get these different models. Dell does the same thing. It can mass produce the base laptop or the base notebook and just adapts different things, the CD-ROM, the processor, whatever, based upon customer specifications. So it's still enjoying the benefits of mass production, but it's also enjoying the segmentation benefits that come from some level of customization. So flexible manufacturing, you can have both this low cost that comes from mass production, economies of scale, learning effect, experience effect, and you can also have some customization as well. Again, you're not probably going to be as low cost as the total mass manufacturer, but you're going to have a low cost benefit, and you're not probably going to be as customized as, Dell's not as customized as some of like the gaming PC producers, but you're still not buying, everybody doesn't have the same laptop. The customization might be as simple as just a different shell, a different top on the laptop, but that difference is something that people are going to be willing to pay for. And again, that technology and the manufacturing technology makes the experience curve somewhat obsolete, because we're assuming, that everybody has to do it in that manner. Everybody has to spend that amount of time setting up an assembly line. Well, Toyota said, no, we don't have to. We don't have to use your same technology. We have different types of technology that make our process more expedient and less costly, and therefore give us a benefit that your experience curve cannot give you. So that's some of the problems, and essentially experience curve effects becoming obsolete is why we see so many established firms getting booted by these young upcoming firms. And we talk about how slow they are to respond. The reason they're slow to respond is because they're holding on to the belief that what they do, they still do well, and that is absolutely true. And which is why I said to you in the last chapter, strengths are not just doing something well, but they are doing, they're not just doing something well or even better than the competition, but they are assets that increase profitability. If I'm doing something well and I'm even doing it better than you, but no customer values it, it is not giving me a value proposition anymore, then it is no longer a strength. I hope you understand that. If it is the customers do not see any real value from what I am doing anymore, then it is no longer a strength. I hope you understand that. All right. So just being able to do, and that's what's potentially impeding many established companies. They still do what they do well. So looking at their internal audit, they won't say, hey, we have a problem. For example, let's say Starbucks. Starbucks still serves coffee well. They still have a premier location. They still have classy, chic baristas and all those things. But if customers no longer value that significantly, then that experience that they have in doing that is not necessarily going to lead to any kind of realized cost savings. Okay? We talked about flexible manufacturing. You could read more about this in your text. And this is a little bit of an example of a trade-off. What used to be the case in traditional manufacturing, the more volume, right, unit cost would go down, but the more variety, unit cost would go up. So if I tried to customize, it would increase my unit cost. The way to decrease my unit cost was to have volume, but the problem with volume was that I didn't have variety. I had to basically trade off. Now with flexible manufacturing, I can have a little bit of both. I can have the volume and I can have the variety, and look at what happens to my unit cost. It's decreased. Marketing can also help with efficiency. How does it help? Well, marketing can reduce my defection rate. What are defection rates? Defection rates is basically losing customers. How many customers lose me? And you will see something. Now, this is a relationship between loyalty and profit per customer. So, for example, you go into AT&T. AT&T say, hey, listen, we're going to give you this phone free. Give you the phone free if you sign up for a 2-year agreement. Okay? Now, believe it or not, the phone costs AT&T something. They had to buy the phone. They didn't just get the phone. They purchased the phone. So basically, the first couple of months you're with AT&T, they're losing. They're in the hole. Why are they willing to put themselves in the hole? They're willing to put themselves in the hole because they realize that sooner or later this relationship is going to invert itself. Now you will no longer be unprofitable to them, but in fact you will be profitable to them because they will make more money on you over the lifetime of the contract than they initially spent on you acquiring you. Okay? This is also the reason why, ladies, you don't get flowers after 20 years of marriage. Because initially, when your husband or your boyfriend was trying to woo you, they spent a lot to acquire you, right? To attract you. But as time goes by, it makes no sense for them to continue to try to acquire you or to attract you as vigorously as they have, because now they have loyalty, and loyalty helps the firm to not only recapture the acquisition cost, but also to go beyond that acquisition cost and actually have a profitable relationship with the customer. So wives, your husbands are not being cheap, they're just being strategically feasible, viable. Alright, so it says the longer the company holds on to, the greater the volume of generated unit sales. Again, that offsets all the acquisition costs and marketing costs. So marketing helps definitely in efficiency, because the longer I keep you, the more money I can make from you, the less I have to spend on generating new customers. Reducing therefore defection rates and building customer loyalty is a major source of my cost structure being lowered. If I can reduce defection rates, that means I don't have to acquire new customers, and also means I don't have to spend more on retaining, because it's most organizations and most business models, it's much more expensive to acquire new customers than it is to keep customers loyal. Materials management also helps supply chain, just getting the materials that I need. You know, it's a main source cost in production. Significant opportunities just in time. We spoke about that. Inventory holding, Walmart, we've used this example multiple times. They're great inventory management processes and systems, helps them to keep their inventory levels down, their working capital requirements down. Because of that, they have to spend less. Because they have to spend less, they have less inputs, therefore the efficiency is up, their cost structure is down. Okay? R&D we normally associate with innovation, but R&D in fact can also help with efficiency. How can it do that? It can make processes, production processes and service processes cheaper. How can it do that? Well, simply like reducing the number of parts. If there are less parts in assembly, there are less parts to production, it's less complex, it's less complicated, there's less time, there's less resources required. Making a design easier to manufacture and just easier to complete is something that can reduce effectively their cost. Designing processes that require less resources, that require less time. We just spoke about the just-in-time manufacturing. Those types of processes, those process innovations, remember chapter 3, help us in terms of reducing our cost. In human resources, how many times do companies become inefficient, waste wasteful because they have the wrong people doing the wrong things. We hire the right people, train the right people, and make sure they can manage themselves and are motivated, helps us to again be efficient. And information systems, technology has overtaken many things and made many things more efficient in terms of, let's say, handling claims. Now, for example, you can go online and you could type in an invoice or a customer number, find out exactly what's going on with that order, find out where it is, where it's shipped to, what, and all those things have saved organizations time, saved them money, and also helped in terms of, also helped in decreasing their workforce requirements, decreasing time that is taken in managing production and managing sales and services. So here you see table 4.1. I'm not sure in your new text if it is table 4.1, but there is a table that talks about the value creation function and the roles it plays. And this kind of goes through all the different functions in the organization, things like infrastructure, production, marketing, material, information system, H&R, and how they actually contribute to efficiency. All of those on the left side are what we call functions of the organization. Functions are roles or departments in organization that fulfill specific tasks, like your marketing department, your sales department. All of those have specific finance department, accounting. They all have specific roles to play in the organization, creating value, supporting primary value creating activities. And all of those, or some of those roles, or some of those functions, help the firm to promote efficiency. Let's look at quality. Again, we discussed in chapter 3, quality was made up of two elements. Quality as reliability and quality as excellence. Reliability, making sure that the item, the product, the service, they do what they're supposed to do, they do it well, they do it consistently. Quality as excellence is whatever I perceive as something that has superior attributes, whether that be status, whether that be style, whether that be form, whatever. Anything that I attribute as being superior, something that I'm attracted to, that's quality as excellence. We said that before. Strong quality reputation helps me to differentiate myself. Differentiation, guess what? Creates customer value. Customer value means more money, more willingness to pay, i.e. likelihood of competitive advantage. But also, eliminating defects and errors, I reduce my waste. That increases my efficiency, and increasing efficiency lowers cost structure. Lower cost structure, likely to increase profitability. I can improve quality as reliability. We've heard this, or you may have heard about Six Sigma. Six Sigma is trying to do the right thing at all times. Basically, it is about not only a statistical management tool to reduce error, but also a culture. And in terms of the organization does not want to have any significant level of error or rework or wastage. The company's focused on doing it right the first time. Okay, and that's one of those elements. You build quality into your culture. This again, the table goes into a little more of the creation of how can I build quality in my material management? How can I build quality in my marketing function, my production function, my R&D function, in my IT function, in my HR function? You can read this and get a little more information in terms of how quality can be promoted and built into these different functions. The third building block after efficiency and quality is innovation, right? Achieving superior innovation, building distinctive competency that result in innovation, the most important source of competitive advantage. I want you to understand that. I want you to recognize why that is so. Again, competitive advantage is not just doing well. It is not just having a good performance, but it is having superior performance relative to your competition. In order for you to separate yourself from your competition, you're going to have to do something different, something unique, something innovative, which is why innovation, more so than efficiency, quality, and customer responsiveness, is what separates and differentiates a firm from its competition. And also, innovation is what leads into having higher quality, having higher customer responsiveness, and having higher superior efficiency. When I'm innovative, when I've come up with new ways to be more resourceful and more efficient, when I'm more innovative, I produce products that are quality driven, and quality as reliability driven, quality as excellence, quality as reliability. When I come up with new products that allow me to identify and satisfy my customer needs better and more uniquely than my competitors, that's when I can say that I've separated myself and I have a competitive advantage. As I said before, innovation in chapter 3, I said this innovation can allow me to have product innovation